The options markets say that there's a concentration of puts, meaning bets that the certain strike price of Bitcoin by the end of this week will be all the way down to $78,000. Is that really going to happen? Our countdown closer says Santa Claus rally is ahead for crypto. Joining us now, Market Rebellion CEO and senior market strategist Marc Lopresti. Wow, the options market, what do you make of that? Are these individual options traders, or are these the big guys? Tell me, what is at work that they think it's going to hit 78,000 by the end of this week? Do you?
Well, I don't, Liz. And to your first question, it looks like it's institutions. It's been institutional trading driving this market down, calling those over-levered long positions from those DATs, and we'll talk about that. But remember, you have to look, an option position is not always what it appears on its face. And a put position like this can be a false bear signal, as we sometimes like to say. And my analysts looked at this thing, and we think it might be part of a hedging position. So it might not be a bet that Bitcoin's going to drop down to 78 this week. We don't see it. It's possible, but we think that this is a hedge that we're looking at.
And the institutional guys, boy, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, they wouldn't touch this stuff. And now suddenly they're in it, including the world's second largest asset manager, Vanguard.
Yeah, that news this morning, with all of the other talk about all of this volatility in crypto markets, largely uncovered. Vanguard, with $11 trillion in assets under management, announcing this morning that they will custody not only crypto-related ETFs, but Bitcoin itself. Why is this important? Liz, Vanguard has 50 million customers in the United States. That's 50 million new retail accounts that will have the ability to have exposure to Bitcoin and the larger cryptocurrencies. There's a few things on Wall Street that are a guarantee. You've heard me say this before. When you have regulatory clarity and institutions know whether something is a stock, an option, fish or fowl, and you can hold it in your retirement account, it drives demand and appreciation in asset value. We expect that to happen.
And considering that you had Bitcoin just a day or two ago down in the low 80s, and now it's at $91,086 as we speak, it is very volatile. And anybody who gets into this really should understand that. But so are the stocks that are involved and work in that ecosystem. But today you have the Mara Holdings and the Coinbases moving higher, the Circles. But then you have some other ones like ABTC, American Bitcoin, which is backed by Eric Trump. I mean, he was sitting in that chair when it went public via SPAC September 3rd, and it ended the session, I think, September 3rd around $8. Right now, it's not at $8. It's gotten hit very hard. But this is a Bitcoin treasury. They invest in a lot of Bitcoin. They're miners. They mine the Bitcoin. They started off with 2,000. They now have something like 4,000. So they're definitely growing. But what's going on here?
Well, a couple of things. So in the case of Eric's company, it's both a treasury, a DAT, and a miner, right? Not all DATs are also mining, although some are.
Digital asset
treasury, correct, of which there's been over 140 of them that have gone public this year, 7 of which traditionally, the rest through SPACs or reverse mergers, that held over $150 billion in total market cap of Bitcoin and related crypto. When Bitcoin dropped briefly below 85, it triggered a liquidation that caused a third of that, $50 billion, to be wiped out, which of course caused over $1 trillion in total since the sell-off started in mid-November. Eric knows, the shareholders in that company know, like you say, this is volatile.
It is. And Marc Lopresti is saying it's a false bear signal. The people who are betting that Bitcoin will go down to 78,000 by the end of the week. We shall see. The market's going up on balance here. The Dow pulling out a 197-point gain.